Hello and welcome to the Daily Brown Bag. Today we're going to be talking about some recent updates that Google's made to their publishing center. I'm Chad Hill and I'm joined by Adam Stetzer.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chad. Welcome to the Round Bag. Yeah, we're talking about Google News and specifically the Publishing Center and an announcement that Google has made about some changes there. This is really only applicable, Chad, to U.S. publishers, although they do have hopes, Google does, to roll this out to other countries after they've seen that these features really work out. So we're talking now for folks who already are a verified Google News source and are probably familiar with the Publisher Center features. Maybe not everybody is, Chad, so let's back up a second here and talk about what the goals are and why Google is doing this. Their goal here is to provide a platform where publishers and Google can work better together to connect users with the most relevant and diverse content possible, which sounds very similar to the mission of their search in general. But here we're talking specifically about Google News and where people log in who are a verified Google News source and can control certain aspects about how Google digests their content before syndication. And this announcement, Chad, and then I'll ask you to go into it a little more, they're specifically talking about how publishers can update the name of their site, how they can add source categories, and how they can rename sections of their site. So let's help our audience a little bit. What does that really mean, and why is it important?
Well, the first one I think that you want to understand is what is the Google News and how do you get in it. I know a lot of people have attempted to get into Google News and they have some pretty strict standards. So let's go through those and talk about what Google considers to be worthy of its news area and what's just regular web content, blog content. So there are 6 standards here. One is content from the site. It has to be reporting on timely issues that have to comply with all standards of journalism as Google defines it, which the 2 things they talk about are that it provides original reporting and honest attribution. The third one is that there's clear accountability and that the reporter and the site are very clearly identified who they are, where they're located, bios of the authors, etc. Authority needs to make sure that the site has expertise and clear authority, readability, that it's well written, there's no grammatical errors, easy to navigate, and then this last one here, assure that you use meta tags correctly because that's a very important part of the way they consume and display the information. So clearly, if you do make it into the news feed, Google gives you some very nice preference, not only in your own category of search, but also in many cases you'll see, depending on the topic, news results that surface pretty high in the search results. I guess that the one other question people often have is that there's a lot of people that mix in their own editorial content with aggregated or syndicated content, and what Google wants you to do is to separate those 2 things out so that they can very clearly kind of whitelist one part of that and not the other. So I think at the end of the day, Adam, really what we're talking about here is for these more advanced publications that are in the Google News, they're giving you some more control over your information, because the last thing you want is, after going through a fairly arduous process of getting approved, for you to make a site change and have yourself fall out. So I think that's really what the Publishing Center is all about, but it also gives a little context to the people out there who read Google News to understand where this information is really coming from.
Excellent. Well, changes to the Publishing Center in the Google News area for verified sites. We definitely would like to hear from those of you who are in Google News what you think of these changes, pros and cons. Drop us a note, and we always ask that you subscribe so we can see you right back here tomorrow for another Brown Bag.